Hi everyone, my name is Misty. I sell clothing online as the name Styling Away. Now, 2 weeks ago, I put out a video really quickly based on an email I got from eBay about an item being taken down from my closet. The item was taken down because it did not follow the used clothing policy, which was to me quite the surprise. So I made a video telling you all about that. And I received so many comments on that video because nobody else was aware of this policy. So I have replied to many comments with the actual policy that's on the eBay's website, which is the same as what they had sent me because I was very confused. It was a bra, it was used bra, and it said that it was excellent pre-owned condition, but I was missing what they wanted to be on every used clothing item. So what I'm going to do today, and I apologize, I'm not looking at the camera, kind of weird, but I'm going to read what your comments were and give you any feedback based on what I understand the policy is after speaking with eBay and seeing it online. Okay, so to recap, the item I had was a bra. A bra is not considered underwear, which is what I called them to say after I got the notice from eBay. I called them to say, hey, this is not underwear. Why are you taking this down? And they said every item that is used pre-owned on eBay has to have a description of how you cleaned the item. So it wasn't taken down because it was underwear. It was taken down because it did not say I had washed it, machine washed it, hand washed it. The specific text they gave me to write on each of my items, and I will tell you, I have 2,400 items, I think, on eBay right now. 22 to 24, I can't remember. Some of that's new, some of those are shoes, some of those are non-clothing. But I went back over the last 2 weeks, and I have added this statement to all my pre-owned clothing items. The statement is, item has been cleaned according to manufacturer's instructions. So here are your comments on that last video, and I'm going to run through what my take is. So someone commented, news to me, thank you for doing this video. I've never heard of this. Things like something they can make a checkbox drop down on listings if they really wanted us to provide that info on every used clothing item. Exactly. I think that's true. I know there is a drop down about how it should be cleaned, but they want to know how you cleaned it or how I cleaned it or whoever's selling it cleaned it. Someone said that they think the reps make stuff up. Possibly, but they did actually have a policy on their website. Someone says, thanks for sharing this, that you're new to eBay and you didn't know this either, so good. Another person wrote, I buy clothes from eBay, including bras, and I have never seen that statement. Neither have I, which is why it was such a shock to me when I had my item taken down. One thing I didn't mention in that video is I did ask them, after all these years, I have been reselling full-time for 5 years, and I've never had that problem. But I had been selling for the last 15 years on and off things that I own just personally. And so they said, well, there are 1 billion listings on eBay. And so because there's so many eBay listings, you may not get caught until, the day that your number comes up. And so that was my day. Does this apply to vintage clothing? As a buyer of vintage items, I really don't want sellers trying to clean, wash vintage items so they can comply with some weird clothing eBay rules, especially silk items, which may likely be ruined by people who think they need to clean the stuff before listing. Yeah, so yes, I think according to the policy, and I'm going to read that right now so you can see it. So if you type in eBay used clothing policy, you will come to the eBay policy on the website. The clothing policy says, used underwear and socks are not allowed. Other used clothing must follow our policy. We have a used clothing policy so buyers can be confident that they will get clean, stain-free items when they buy on eBay. Health and hygiene is one of our top priorities, so our policy outlines why certain items cannot be sold on the site. What is the policy? Used underwear and socks are not allowed even if they are clean. That's what I was fighting before, thinking that they took my bra down because they thought it was underwear. Examples include boxer shorts, panties, briefs, diapers, and athletic supporters. Bras are not considered underwear. That's what it says in the policy. Second point, used clothing must be properly cleaned and include a statement that the item has been properly cleaned. So with that, that's where they're saying you have to write how it was cleaned. So like I said, item must be cleaned according to manufacturer's instructions. That's what they wrote for me, or told me to write. Okay, so there's a little bit more, but that's about it. That's the gist of it. Let's go back. Let me see. I gotta go back to okay. So with that, I would think that does apply to vintage clothing. Now, if you, like, sometimes I machine wash most of my clothing items, but sometimes I steam the item based on if it's like silk or something nice, but I always clean it. I always clean everything I have. Or I will, you can take it to the dry cleaner. I rarely do that. Sometimes I hand wash or a spot clean. And so for those items, I have been writing what I do. So if I hand wash it, I write that in the description and not the standard statement. This is another question. Could this be caused by using the international shipping option? I don't think so. I think it does not say that in the policy. This is a true statement. Even if the item was cleaned or not before it was sold, basically when you receive it, you would clean it anyways. That's true. And the viewer rack, kind of pointless eBay rule if you ask me. Yes, except that I agree that's kind of pointless and doesn't make a lot of sense. And nobody seems to know about this rule, so that's the point of the video is to tell you that this is something that they are. Maybe they've always had it. I felt like it was new, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. One person wrote, "I've never heard of this. No one has heard of this." Same friend. I have no idea where this came from, but apparently it's a thing. And with eBay, you have very few strikes and you're kind of out. And so I made it a priority over the last 2 weeks to go back into all my listings and to manually add it in. And I'm doing that through Vendoo. So I have Vendoo, and I delete and relist every 30 days. And so I made a statement on each of those listings. So when I relist it within the next 30 days, it will be correct. I'm not going back into my live listings and adding that in because that would take so much time that I don't have. Somebody did give a hack for that, and I'm going to tell you that as soon as I get to their comment. Okay, another person wrote, "I always add how I clean the item. I've been doing that since my very first listing. I have never had anything taken down." And that's good to know because that's what we want. And apparently that's what eBay wants. It's just that nobody knows about it. Another person wrote, "They have never requested anything besides pre-owned, new with tags, or new without tags. I have never seen anything about cleaning. I always clean the clothes I get, but lots of YouTubers don't wash their items, and at best, they steam them." That is true. Another person wrote, "That's ridiculous. Are you supposed to hunt down every previous owner of the item and ask how they clean the item? I don't think 5% of resellers clean items to specifications. Are they that bored at eBay that they must have a lot of time to think of this stuff?" Okay, so from my understanding, it's not how somebody else cleaned the item, but how you clean the item. So if somebody before you, if you bought it to resell and they dry cleaned it, but you machine washed it, you're just writing how you cleaned it. So you don't have to worry about the previous owner, according to what I understand. This is another person commenting, asking if it was a foreign customer service agent who was talking to me, but it did not sound that way. She says sometimes that foreign customer service agents will make things up to get you off the phone. And she would have asked for a supervisor, or he or she would have asked for a supervisor, and I did the same thing. I asked for somebody else, and they're like, "No, this is it." But they did sound like they were from the U.S. or they had great English. Either way. And did they send you the written policy? Yes, they sent me the written policy when they said it had been taken down, which is what I was thinking it had to do with bras being underwear, but it wasn't underwear. And then I just typed in eBay policy. Use clothing policy, and that is what it came up with. Same thing. Another person asked, "Did you ask for documentation of this policy that no one has heard of? Surely there's a page on eBay people can reference. Otherwise, how is everyone supposed to know this?" Yes. The documentation of the policy was in my email that they were sent to me. Also, the documentation is on eBay's website. And once again, if you need me to send that to you, just reply, can you send me the policy, and I'll put the link there. Or you can just type in eBay used clothing policy. Somebody has said this, and I hadn't thought about this when I was doing it. I was still kind of fired up when I got that email and kind of shook that I was going to have to change all my listings to include this statement. But someone put this: why risk it? Take it down. It's not worth the risk. The item is probably messing with your sales. And first of all, this is one item, and I have like all those other items. I can't take them all down. I'm not going to do that. But to her point, I ended up taking it down because if it's flagging, that one's flagging, I'm just going to go ahead and be done with it. I'm not going to worry about it. I do have it on 5 other platforms, so it's not a big deal. Someone said they haven't got a notice like this. Yeah, I haven't got a notice like this until this year, and it's been, like I said, 5 years plus 15 other years. Okay, here is the question. Here is the solution from one viewer. Okay, so what I do is I can't use this solution because I relist and delist everything every 30 days. And I do it outside of the platform on Vendu, but they said use the bulk editor. Now, a couple of years ago, I was on vacation and I put this big long message on all of my listings. And I used the bulk editor for that. And so I'm assuming that bulk editor still exists. So if you're not somebody who uses an outside service to delete and relist your items, then I would look into the eBay bulk editor, BULK. And so you can just put that one statement. The only tricky part I think on this is sometimes we don't include according to manufacturer's instructions as a reseller. Sometimes if something's a sweater and it should be dry cleaned, sometimes we steam it or we hand wash it and it's not manufacturer's instructions. So for me, I felt better, one, because I relist and delist to do it my way. But if they just want a statement and you just want to put it that way, you can look into that. Also, if you want to check out that policy, you could do that. You can call eBay and ask for clarification of the policy, especially with vintage items. If that's something, it does not say excluding vintage items, though. The policy does not say that. So I would just suggest checking with eBay via chat or by calling them. But yeah, check it out. It's the eBay policy for used clothing items. I hope that helps you, and I hope you're able to make great sales in 2023. Once again, follow me on YouTube and like this video if you found it useful. Share it with your friends so none of us get caught up in the 3 strikes and you're out rule on eBay. Bye.